Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today it is Vlogmas day 10, I think. And I just wanted to remember the reason for the season. Today I just wanted to talk about the story of Jesus, the birth of Jesus. Today I'm mostly going to be in Luke chapter 2. We've been doing a series on Advent at church. And so there's been multiple sermons on Luke 2. And I feel like it goes most in depth with the story of the birth of Jesus. Mary was pregnant with baby Jesus, and they had to go back to David's home, which is Bethlehem. And while they're there, let me get comfy. This is heavy, it's hard to hold. An angel came to shepherds that watched the sheep that were like getting ready to be slaughtered as a sacrifice, which foreshadowing. And the angel told them that the Messiah had been born today. I have written, God showed the shepherds Jesus in this way so they clearly understood. God will give you peace. One of the points from a message was Shalom brings clarity of vision in your path. Obviously, God is not a God of confusion. Your path will be clearly understood. So the angels coming to the shepherds that took care of the lambs that were to be slaughtered helps them to clearly understand this path. And then chapter 25, this is where it starts. It talks about the prophecy of Simeon. Simeon was an older man, and the Holy Spirit had told him that he wouldn't die until he had seen the Messiah. He was waiting for a long time. When the baby was given, baby Jesus was given to Simeon, he said, Sovereign Lord, now let your servant die in peace, as you have promised. I have seen your salvation, which you have prepared for all people. He is a light to reveal God to the nations, and he's the glory of your people, Israel. I wrote here that God is always on time. God sent Jesus down at the perfect time to reveal himself to Simeon as an old man. And that's also crazy to think about. Like, he was holding a baby Jesus, and was like, this is the Messiah, and I can now die. Like, and it also said he is a light to reveal God to the nations. Jesus was the light, and the light shines in the darkness to reveal truth. The light and the love of God is outside of our understanding. His love knows everything about you and still loves you wholly. Like, wholly. It talks about the prophecy of Anna, which for me starts verse 36, and for you. Essentially, Anna was a widow, and she'd lived old, and her husband had died young. But instead of being sad like she could have been, she never left the temple but stayed there day and night, worshiping God with fasting and prayer. She came along just as Simeon was talking with Mary and Joseph, and she began praising God. One thing I noticed is that her first response was praise. But God takes the pain and writes your story beautifully. Pastor Josh said today that he perfectly weaves it into your story. And no one else can write your story. Like, you cannot write your story in a way that will ever compare to how God is writing your story. His plan is perfect, and you need to trust his timing. It's hard, I know, but we have to trust his timing. I also wanted to talk about the points from today at church. This week's Advent was on love, and the main points that I got were love grows and flourishes as it's received from God. So like, the more you dive into God's love and receive it, the more your love will grow and spread. Faithful love meets you with strength, and this refers to Simeon because reflected God in the waiting. He could have been sad or impatient, but instead he reflected God in the waiting. And faithful love meets us in the pain. This refers to Anna because she was sustained by his love and presence, even though the pain could overtake her and become worse. And this is the part where he said that God takes pain and beautifully writes it into your story. Faithful love found in Jesus. Let the promise of Jesus being given fill your mind, not what has not been fulfilled. Basically, if God has promised you something, or you know that something is from God, don't keep your mind on that. Keep your mind on the promise of Jesus coming on this earth already being fulfilled. That's my little dive into the birth of Jesus. But also I wanted to talk about the last part of Luke 2. It talks about Jesus talking with the teachers. And I kind of put that like all Jesus wanted was to be with God. He wanted to reflect the Father in everything he did. I was watching Bryce Crawford's video on Luke 2, and he talked about if you don't have hope, reflect on your worship life. And I was like, wow, if you're in a situation and you don't have hope, how are you worshiping God and spending time with God and praising him, even though it could be challenging? That's where the joy comes from and the roots are formed. That's all I have today, so thank you for watching, and don't forget the reason for the season.